Gargantuas! Sanda and Gaira, just released from X-Plus Diamond reissue. The Diamond distributors reissue these bad boys, okay? So, little back history real quick before we get knee-deep into this. These guys are from the movie The War of the Gargantuas. It took place in 1966. The movie was released. It's a follow-up to Frankenstein Conquers the World. Sanda and Gaira are believed to be descendants, sons, brothers, whatever you want to call it, of Frankenstein from the movie Frankenstein Conquers the World. How did these guys become? Who knows? One thought was one of them grew from the hand that was severed from Frankenstein. The other is believed to be created from cells that were blown off from Frankenstein. Okay, so just a little piece of information. Two great Toho films, non-Godzilla related, but if you haven't seen them, you should definitely check them out. Frankenstein Conquers the World, awesome film. War of the Gargantuas, just two awesome films. Definitely check them out, okay? So, these figures were released numerous times. First time these figures were released, they were both in a build-up kit. It was released in 2007, okay? So then they were released again as painted figures in 2008. So in 2007, you got the kits. You had to put them together, build them yourself, and paint them. In 2008, X-Plus released them as build-up already and painted already. 2011, we saw the Wonderfest release of these guys, and the paint jobs were tweaked a little bit. And here now in 2014, we have the Diamond reissued release, the Diamond release. I don't know what to call them. The release by Diamond via X-Plus of the Gargantuas. So what makes this special is because these guys haven't been released. Last time was in 2011, and they are extremely sought after. So this is the best opportunity to pick up these guys if you missed out on them in the past 4 or 5 years. This is a great opportunity because you're paying it was about $160 if you pre-ordered them. $160 for two 30-centimeter figures. How could you beat that? $160 for two 30-centimeter figures. That's the price of one. So now after the release, now you're starting to see the prices hit up in the $200 mark. So if you're thinking about it, get it right now. Don't wait. Alright, so first thing we're going to talk about is the box. Here's the box. Cool box, okay? So you got Sanda and Gaira on the cover. And inside the box, it's typical. You got your typical packaging. Typical X-Plus packaging. Holds them inside there, twist ties and all. So there's the box. Not much of a difference, except it's in English. Still got some Japanese kanji right there. You got the previews, exclusive. That means you got it from the previews magazine or pre-ordered through your comic book shop. That's really the big difference on the box covers. In the back, finally, for once, you get the information in English. If you're ever curious, if you have previous X-Plus boxes, you know, what did it all say? It was all warnings and stuff to be careful for. So that's the box. Pretty standard box. Oh, here. One other thing about the box. It says this is the Diamond issue, but on the box, that is the Wonderfest Gargantuas. Okay? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Alright, it's a little bit. So, basically on the box, they were showing, I'm pretty sure that's what the Wonderfest figures were, but Gaira doesn't have the blood on them. I don't know, I gotta do some more research maybe just to confirm that. But, you know, we were all believed we were getting the Wonderfest paint jobs, and that is not what we got. But we'll talk about that during the paint jobs, okay? So that's the box. Let's talk about the sculpt. The sculpt, I would say, is pretty damn spot on both figures. Sanda, you know, he's all hairy looking. His mane up here, you know, I guess we'll call it a mane because it looks maney like a lion, sort of, kind of, except it's not bushy like a lion. But, you know, he's very hairy, lot of good detail, you know, to get the most out of a vinyl figure as far as the texture of a hairy kaiju, monster, Frankensteinish guy. Very well done. Gaira, same thing. A lot of detail in the face, teeth, hands, everything, right down to the claws. Even the fingernails are very nicely done. His feet are feet. You know, they actually look like they were actually the I don't know, they look like hobbit feet. But as John calls them, they're called the leaf people because he wasn't a big fan of this when he saw this as a kid. He called them the leaf people because they look like they're covered in leaves, you know, like Swamp Thing or something. But the sculpts are very nice. Very nicely done. I would say they are probably on par with the Japanese counterparts. I have never seen the Japanese issued X-Plus figures, so I can't comment too much on a comparison. I don't have them. But from other collectors' opinions and stats, they said that, the sculpts are pretty much identical, which is where these came from, the Japanese sculpts. Okay? Remember, these are 30 centimeter scale. Really nicely done. Definitely, as always, with X-Plus, it looks like, bam, pulled it right out of the movie, okay? As if you noticed, Sanda does stand a little bit taller than Gaira. Gaira is kind of slouched a little bit because he's got one step forward and his knees are not locked straight forward, so he's got a little bit of a hunch, so he stands a little bit shorter. Even if he was standing straight up, Sanda does still stand taller anyways, and that's pretty much how it was in the movie, okay? So that's Sculpt. The sculpt is really nicely done. Pose! Let's talk about the poses! Okay, as I just said, Sanda stands taller. He's more upright. He's kind of got like a position where he's ready to like, come on, bring it, Gaira. He's ready to attack. Gaira's got his knees forward, knees bent. He's ready to attack too. He's definitely looking like he's going to attack Sanda. So you can get these guys in a pretty cool pose. Even if you wanted to like pose them together like that or something. But Sanda stands tall, Gaira stands in attack mode. Very nicely done. I think the poses are pretty cool. I really like how Gaira has got his hands like he's ready to claw at you. And Sanda, this is pretty much how he felt and looked throughout the movie. He was not a fighter, so sure he's got his hands clenched like he'll fight if he has to, but he kind of looks like he doesn't want to fight. Where Gaira, he's ready to throw down. Okay. Paint job. Paint job, probably the most critical and discussed topic about this issue of the Gargantuas. A lot of collectors feel disappointed about the paint jobs because they are not the paint jobs that of the Wonderfest release from 2011. So a lot of us feel like we got slighted because the paint jobs were not up to par as to what we were expecting them to be. And what kind of burned the hole a little bit more was that everybody was looking forward to these. These were the figures that everybody was pre-ordering. I don't know anybody that was not getting them. I know a lot of people. I'm sure there's a lot of people not getting them. But X-Plus collectors, fans of War of the Gargantuas, even fans or collectors that were not big fans of the War of the Gargantuas were getting these guys. So the paint job was kind of a Debbie Downer, especially on Gaira. Gaira, my biggest complaint is the forehead and his hair are all one color. They blend. Practically the same color. So there's no definition between the hair and the forehead. Also, we were critiquing how dark his face is. But, the face, yeah, it's kind of dark. Probably a little too dark, but while looking at him, it doesn't look that bad. It's just the shadows covering his eyes. And it depends on what pictures you're looking at, depending on the lighting and the flash. The face doesn't really bother me too much. It's just that the hair and the forehead, there's no definition. There's no accent in either color, so it all blends too evenly. The rest of the figure, it's pretty well done. It's not just a flat green or dark green. It is blends with some lighter greens. So it's not. I think it's good. It's not bad. It's not horrible. There's just some minor tweaks that could be made. Sanda, I really got to give the movie another watch, but I think he looks okay. There's a lot of definition between his hair, his face, his skin, down to the toes, hands, knuckles, the fingernails. Everything looks good on him. There was even some complaints, that even his face was too dark. The colors were off. But I think Sanda looks pretty spot on. I'm happy with Sanda. Okay, so the paint jobs. If I had to give the paint jobs, I'd say 1 out of 5. I'll give it 4 out of 5. It's not that bad. Hey, it's the first time we're getting the Gargantuas in how many years? And made available for the price. I really can't complain too much. I'm happy to have them. This is great. Okay? Seams and joints! Okay, so, pull these guys out of the box. The arms are bent down a little bit. Sanda's actually, his are fixed where they're at. You really can't move them too much. And the legs are pretty much the way they are right out of the box. But seams, 2 seams around here, around both calves, right under the knee. And there's another seam on both ankles, just meeting at the feet. But they're well hidden under his hairy skin, hairy hairness. So they're hidden pretty good. You really can't tell that much. You definitely can see the seams here a little bit around the feet. Again, not a big deal. The shoulders are well hidden because his hair on the shoulders was pretty broad, so you really can't tell too much there. Same thing on the right arm. Hidden pretty good. From the front, you can kind of see it just because there's some shadow casting over him. So not a big deal. I'm going to lay down just so you don't fall. Gaira, he has a very visible seam right here in front of the right knee. And then again on the left knee, just underneath the knee. Just at the kneecap, meeting the calves. His arms, yeah, they're pretty... Ooh. Looks like his arm was coming out. So depending on how you position his arm, look at that. It comes right out. It's okay. It's an easy fix. Just get it right back in there. You might have to make that squishy soft. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. But just something just to keep an eye on if you closing them. Looks like it's kind of coming out. Not a big deal. But same thing, just like on Sanda, Gaira, right around the shoulders, midsection, on the arms. There's seams there. But, you know, it's for some rotation here. And you're definitely going to want to rotate him because in the box, I think his arms were down. You know, so you definitely want to get those up. The wrists. Is there any... Nope, nothing here. I thought there was. No, nothing there. Sanda's arms. Don't move. Sanda's wrists. Rotate. Both hands. Okay? See? But you don't want to mess with them too much. Okay? And Gaira, same thing. His legs at the calves. Joints and seams, they rotate. This is kind of like articulation too, but important for the pose. Yeah, so the seams are trying to be well hidden as best as they can. Okay, let's talk about the poses. Just to go back to the pose real quick. When you get them out of the box, if they're not standing upright, because some people they were wanting to fall over. Well, what you got to do is just grab them by the kneecaps, just under the knees, and rotate the calves and the feet, and get them to where you want them, and they stand just fine. And same thing with Sanda. You just rotate the calves under the kneecaps and the feet, work them together, and they stand just fine. Perfect. So you don't have to worry about leaning them up against the wall or the back of your shelf or something, okay? Size comparison! Definitely had to bring out Baragon. So this is a 25 centimeter Baragon. He's got the perked up ear, so it gives him a little bit more height. So, as you can see, these are supposed to be 230 centimeter figures. Baragon's a 25 centimeter scale. They both tower over Baragon. Gaira actually is almost eye level with Baragon. That's 25 centimeter versus 25. Almost. I'd say they're pretty damn close. So there's a comparison between the 25 centimeter Baragon, how fitting, and 230 centimeter Gargantuas. Okay? Now let's bring up the 30 centimeter figure to do a size comparison. Okay, so here's our 30 centimeter Titanosaurus. Definitely almost more at scale with Sanda, but he towers over Gaira. Again, Gaira's got his foot forward and knee bent a little bit, so that takes the height away a little bit. But Titanosaurus towers over Gaira, and he stands a little bit higher than Sanda. But it's not that bad. So, size comparison with a 30 centimeter. Okay, so there you go. Here are Sanda and Gaira, X-Plus Diamond reissued figures. Awesome grab. So, what are my final thoughts? Here are my final thoughts. I think this is a great opportunity for X-Plus collectors to get their hands on these. The price was just right, especially if you pre-ordered them. I know there's still some collectors out there, as of this date, as of recording, that will be getting theirs this coming week from Entertainment Earth, which took forever. I got mine from Midtown Comics. So I'm very happy with the purchase. The price was exceptionally well for 230 centimeter figures. You paid $160 for them plus shipping. You can't go wrong. Okay? So if you're a big fan of War of the Gargantuas, you definitely got to pick these up. Definitely. Even aside from some of the minor issues with the paint jobs, you get over it real fast, no issues. So I definitely certify these figures as fresh. That's right, they are certified fresh. Okay? That's all I got, guys. So you got questions, hit me up in the comments. Definitely check out Fresh Vinyl Reviews on Facebook for more behind-the-scenes action and other updates as far as, what reviews are coming. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. And remember, buy vinyl, fresh vinyl!